This is the third of a series in modeling this 18th century Williamsburg knife tray. We've built all the components, but the last thing to do is to create the dovetails as shown here in the corner. The angle, the splay of the side makes the dovetails, of course, more difficult to do. But I'll go through that process of creating the dovetails. As you can see from the original hand-drawn sketch, there are 3 pins in the dovetails, and the sides have the tails. And the sides are where I start the process of making these dovetails. So I'll edit the side component and use the divide line procedure. Here it is, divide. I just right click on the edge and create 4 segments of division. That will give us the spaced dovetails as shown on the hand sketch. And I bring down a guideline to each of these breakpoints in the divided line edge. So those guidelines show the midpoint of the tails, and I'll shape those tails using guidelines again, and I'll go up 1/16 here and come down 1/16 here, and then draw the shape of actually this would be the shape of the pin that would protrude through from the end component. And that looks like a fairly good angle. I looked for about a 10-degree angle, and I think I'm getting approximately a 10-degree angle. I can delete all of those guidelines now that I've got that shape. I want these dovetails to be parallel to the base, so I'll bring up a guideline from the base that's parallel, and then click on the points of intersection at the throat of the dovetail and bring the lines across, straight across on the red axis, then parallel with the bottom. Turn on X-ray so that I can complete that dovetail shape. I need a edge back there in that back corner, so I'll just go ahead and bring that down now. And then find a parallel here. I had the parallel and then I lost it. Let me come back and get it again. There it is, that pinky color there. And then I can come down and maybe it'd be easier. I'll just draw that bottom the same way I did the top by looking for a parallel. There it is, that color. And I can now come across to finish the shape here. So I've got the outline of that pin, or actually it's the tails that I'm working on here. And I'm making sure that my settings give me a darker color in the background in this in the other components, and then I select that whole shape and copy it down to the other two locations, grabbing it at the midpoint, copying it down, and doing that again. And there are our three tails, or actually there are four tails, there are 3 pins. So the tails I'm making now. And to finish them up, let's bring a copy of this side component out so that we can get all the way around it and make sure that we've got these things put together properly. I can delete these edges to clear out the waste and create the 4 tails. Look at the back side and see if I've got integrity back there. Yes, but these edges can go away. I've got some face coloring here that needs to be reversed. So again, I'll just copy those 3 faces that are, and then right click and reverse faces. Get me back to the proper coloring. X-ray just helps me make sure that I'm picking the whole set of segments there, of edges within the selection. So I can erase that, and the tails are done. Now to work on the mating half in the end component, so I can use the tails to trace over to shape the pins. I'll draw this edge down, go into X-ray, draw that edge down like we did before. And now begin a trace over of the shapes. This is very much like the procedure I would use in the shop, that is, doing the tails first and then using the tails to mark out the shape of the pins. Okay. And we got some missing edges on the back side, so I'll go into the X-ray mode and then trace over the rest of the edges. The procedure, often the procedure that I end up using in SketchUp is the procedure that I do in the shop. I mean, the basic process, how to start and with the components, the assembly, the joinery. There's often a parallel process used in SketchUp that is also used in the shop. Okay, so I've pulled the copy out to finish this up. There's quite a bit of waste that needs to be removed and a missing edge on the bottom. And let's see if I've got a missing edge on the top. No, that's already there. So I can use the eraser now to clear out the waste and expose the pins. Just knock that edge, that front edge out of each of these areas. Click on the corner, that knocks out 3 edges. And again, I've got this coloration issue. To reverse the faces, I'll just select them all at once that need to be changed. Reverse faces. The underside looks good. I see some edges that need to be removed on the outside face and then probably on the inside. Yes. Now, we've only done one side, one end of the end component. So I'll copy the dovetails and shift them over to the opposite end, flipping it on the green axis, and again knocking out the waste. And in this case, I don't have to worry about the coloration. That's already taken care of. We've also are missing the tails on the other end of the side component. And there are a couple ways of fixing the side component, but I think I'll just do it this way. Pull it out, copy it out, and repeat, copy the existing dovetails, pull it over to the other end and flip along the red direction and connect it back in. Wish I could do that in the shop. And again, we knock out some waste edges. Close the component, erase, and we've got a finished knife box that's quite a nice piece of furniture on the dining room table.